Alright, what is poppin', people? You already know who it is. What If King back again with another lit what if for you guys. So today we're gonna be doing a continuation of what if Asta were the reincarnation of Licht and Tetia's child. So this is gonna be part 2. If you want to, see what part 1 was, all you have to do, just go on my channel, go to playlist, it should be there. Wait, let me actually check. Yeah, it should be there. So it's there. Also, while you're there, you might as well check out What If Deku were the reincarnation of Madara Uchiha. So yeah, like I said in that video, I was gonna be posting as much as I possibly can today, because after Monday, my posting schedule is gonna be really weird. So yeah, also, I just wanted to bring attention to the 100 freaking views that we got on What If Asta were the reincarnation of Licht and Tetia's child, and honestly, thank you for that. Like, what? That is so freaking wild. I know I sound like really stupid right now, but like, I just can't believe 100 views. That is amazing. Thank you guys for that, seriously. And also, the 14 people who subscribed, thank you for that too. So before we get into this what if, I'm just gonna remind you, don't forget, smash the like button, smash the subscribe button, turn on all notifications so you get notified when I post every single one of my lit what ifs. So yeah. Also, I wanted to bring attention to what happened at the end of What If Deku were the reincarnation of Madara Uchiha. The music that I had in the background sort of got way louder, and I know, like, I couldn't even hear myself. I completely forgot to, turn down the volume on it like I did for the entire video. So, yeah, sorry about that. I know that was really weird and probably really annoying. But, yeah, so I'm really gonna try not make that mistake again. But, yeah, also, yeah, that's pretty much it. So, actually, let's get into this lit what if. So, we, last left off our what if Asta were the reincarnation of Licht and Tetia's child, when, the Chain Mage, Revchi is actually his name. I looked it up because I kept referring to him as the Chain Mage, so I finally figured out what it is. His name's Revchi. So yeah, Revchi just got absolutely washed by Asta. Okay, and yeah, so now we're gonna move on. And Asta is doing a little bit of his training, his sword training and things like that. He is gonna have lots of mana, and he's gonna have sword magic, and he's still gonna have the anti-magic demon and all of that. So yeah. So also he is going to have the sword training that he did in canon from I think his name is Fazel Kruger or something like that. He's one of the Diamond Kingdom mages, or a former Diamond Kingdom mage, something like that. That was like, yeah. So he's still gonna have that. So, we fast forward to when Asta and Yuno are just getting to the royal capital, and they are about to take, the Magic Knight's exam. So they get in line and they're waiting, and then his turn comes to show the person at the counter his grimoire. And when he shows the person his grimoire, the person is just like, what in the world? A 4-leaf grimoire? White? And he's just shocked. He can't believe it. And then he's like, alright, yeah, you can go. Good luck. And then it's Asta's turn. And Asta takes out his grimoire and shows him his 5-leaf grimoire. And now the person's even more shocked. He's like, what the? How is this even possible? First a 4-leaf and now a 5-leaf. Not only that, but they're both commoners. What the heck? And he looks at Asta and he actually is kind of sort of fearful of Asta. Because, you know, the man at the counter knows the rumors of how a demon resides in the 5-leaf clover grimoires. So, yeah. So he says to Asta, he's like, yeah, you can go in and good luck. You know, the same thing he said to you, know? And, while this was going on, he was, like, sort of catching the attention of a lot of people in the line. They heard that there was a commoner with a 4-leaf and a commoner with a 5-leaf grimoire. And they just couldn't believe it. So yeah, Asta and Yuno, they go into, like, that sort of thing that they went into where the entrance exam was being held. And then, there is, like, sort of like trumpets start playing, and then after that the Magic Knight captains come out, and everyone there, including Yuno and Asta, well, actually maybe not, but yeah, a lot of them are just in awe that they're seeing all the captains in one place at the same time. But yeah, they just can't believe it. So then William Vengeance, the captain of the Golden Dawn, he does a spell with his World Tree magic, and he makes a bunch of brooms out of, you know, his trees and everything, and he gives them to the people who are going to be taking the exam. And he's like, alright, the first test is to see if you can fly. And, you know, having magic, obviously, flying is, like, the easiest sort of transportation, you know, possible. And even if you have a little bit of magic, you should still be able to, you know, fly. So, yeah, that's what happens. And they all fly. And then Yuno gets on his broom. And he immediately just soars all the way at the top, and he's just standing there, like, sort of floating and things like that. And then people see how high he is and how much magic he has. And not Yami, Asta, he does the same thing as Yuno. Also, keep in mind that when they got in, the magic birds, the sort of magic birds, I don't know, I think that's what they're called, but yeah, they didn't bother Yuno, obviously, and they didn't bother Asta, except for Nero. She kind of just sat on Asta's head, and Asta was, like, really confused on why, like, the bird was there, because he knows it only goes to people who, like, don't have very much magic, so he was kind of confused. But yeah, so they're both flying, and so far the captains are kind of sort of impressed with the two, because they see how much magic and things that they have. So yeah, they, you know, just go through all the tests, and Asta and Yuno, they both ace every single one of them. And then we get to the combat portion of the test, and obviously you already know your boy Asta has been looking forward to this. So in this one, Seke is not gonna want to, you know, challenge Asta, because he sees how strong and how much, you know, magic and stuff that Asta has. So he's like, no, I don't want to, no, I'm not fighting that guy. I want to fight a weaker guy, you know, who, you know, just looks weak, and yeah. So yeah, in this one, instead of Asta fighting Seke, we'll say that, a noble, we'll say he fights a noble who has, how about earth magic? We'll say he fights a noble, random noble who has earth magic. And yeah, So Yuno's fight with the noble, who had the lightning magic, I'm pretty sure, goes the same way, just one-shots him immediately. And then comes Asta's fight. And then the noble just starts talking smack. Like, seriously, he's just like, you are a filthy commoner. You don't deserve that 5-leaf grimoire. You don't even deserve to be in the same ring as me. I'm going to easily defeat you and impress the captains. I'm gonna become the next Wizard King, even. And then Asta just looks at him, and he starts laughing. And then he's like, do you really think that you can beat me and become the Wizard King? Sorry, that's not happening. I'm gonna become the Wizard King. And then when the noble hears this, he gets really pissed. Because he's like, how dare you talk to me that way? You should be groveling at my feet. And then the noble takes out his grimoire and he uses a spell. We'll say it's called Pillar Destruction. And it's where he summons a bunch of pillars and he sends them at the target. And obviously the target's gonna be Asta. Asta sees all of this and he just takes out his grimoire, takes out his Demon Slayer sword, and just cuts through every single, pillar. And when the noble sees this, he starts to sort of get fearful. He's like, what kind of magic is that? And all of the captains are really impressed. And then Asta says sword art, lethal slash, and then he rushes at the noble and coats his entire sword in anti-magic and just slashes right through him. Obviously he doesn't cut through the noble or anything, but because it cut him in half, but he rushes him, slams him right in the stomach with the sword, and then keeps going and smashes him into the wall. And then he jumps back, and then he says, I'm not going to the Magic Knights for fame and money. I'm going there to work my butt off and become the Wizard King. And when Yuno sees this, he starts to smirk. And he's like, Asta, you've gotten strong. But just because you have gotten strong doesn't mean you're stronger than me. And then Asta puts his sword away and his grimoire away and he just walks back. And everybody other than Yuno is just surprised that he just defeated the noble so easily. Didn't even use a lot of magic. So yeah, that's what happens. And then we go on to the selection. All of the selections pretty much go the same. When Yuno goes up, he all the Magic Knight captains, they obviously all of them raised their hands because they were extremely impressed by Yuno and the amount of magic that he had. And Yuno still decides to join the Golden Dawn. And then after that, they call Asta up. And when he goes up, this time instead of having nobody raise their hands like in canon, everybody raises their hands. Every single captain. And so obviously Asta is going to have to decide. Now, don't hate on me for this or anything like that, but I actually considered putting Asta into a different Magic Knight squad, but then I realized that was an extremely stupid idea, and it would just make absolutely no sense, because that's just not how Asta is in canon, or in this what if, so that just wouldn't make any sense. So I'm not gonna do that, don't worry. So Asta, he says, alright, well, and then he looks at Captain Yami, and then he's like, is it true that the Black Bulls is the worst Magic Knight squad? And then Yami smirks, and he's like, yup. We're as black can get. We're the worst Magic Knight squad. And then Asta's just like, interesting. Okay, well then, I think I've decided I want to join you. And then everybody is just shocked. All the captains are shocked. All the people who were taking the Magic Knight's exam are shocked. He's just like, he expected Asta to do something like that. He's like, why am I not surprised? And then Nozel stands up and he's like, I have 2 questions for you, commoner. 1, what is your magic? And then Asta says, my magic is sword magic. I can summon swords, different swords, and things like that, and I can use things called sword arts. And also, all of my swords have the ability of anti-magic. They can cut through any magic spell or reflect any magic spell. And then Nozel's like, I see, that's quite an interesting ability. Also, commoner, I have another question. Why, with all of your abilities, promise, and talent, you join the worst Magic Knight squad in the Black Bulls? And Asta looks at him. And then Asta takes out his Demon Slayer sword. He gets on it and he starts floating up to all the captains. And Asta, he can do this in the manga. Obviously he wasn't able to do it like at the very start of the anime, but I'm just gonna give him that ability that he can do this. So yeah, that's what he does. And he floats up to all the captains and he flies straight at Nozel. And he's like, well, I have a bunch of reasons for joining the Black Bulls. My first reason is because some of the captains are spoiled brats and royal pain in the asses. And then he points at Nozel and he says, Exhibit A. And then Nozel is just surprised by this and shocked. He's never been talked to like this, by a commoner. And then he goes over to Dorothy, the captain of the Coral Peacocks, I think it's called, something like that, I don't know. And then he goes over to Dorothy and he says, and some captains are just really boring. And then he points at Dorothy and says, Exhibit B. And then he says that and some captains don't really like men too much. And then he goes over to the captain of the Blue Rose Knights, Charlotte, and then he says Exhibit C. And then he says, and some captains are too serious. And he goes to the captain of the Crimson Lion Kings, Fugoleon, and he points at him and says Exhibit D. And then he goes and he says, and some captains are just plain psychopaths. And he goes to the captain of the Green Praying Mantises, Jack the Ripper, and he points at him and says Exhibit A. And then he backs away, he floats back, and he says, yeah, that's pretty much just some of the reasons. And then the captain of the Golden Dawn, William Vonjers, he gets up and he says, yes, but what about me? Is there a certain trait that you don't like about me that you would not join my Magic Knight squad? And then, after he says this, Asta looks at him and floats toward him. And he says, no, I think you're okay. The only reason why I'm not joining your Magic Knight squad is because, one, Yuno is joining your Magic Knight squad, and Yuno is my rival. And I don't want to be joining the same Magic Knight squad as him. And two, you're the best Magic Knight squad, so it really wouldn't make sense for me to join. And then Captain Vonders, he's just like, what do you mean? And then Asta backs up, and he raises his voice so everyone can hear. And he's like, my dream. And then he's like, no, it's not a dream. It's more of what's going to happen in the future. I'm gonna become the Wizard King. And that person right there is my rival. And as he says this, he points to Yuno. And then he says, another reason why I'm joining the Black Bulls is to prove that I'm worthy of becoming the Wizard King. By making the worst Magic Knight squad the best Magic Knight squad. And there's nothing anybody can do about it. And then he looks at all the captains and he says, you guys are the most accomplished Magic Knights. And the strongest. So in order for me to become the Wizard King, I'm gonna have to surpass each and every single one of you, including my own captain, Captain Yami. But don't worry, I will surpass all of you. And then I'm going to surpass the current Wizard King. And not only am I gonna become a Wizard King, I'm going to become the strongest Wizard King. And I'm gonna prove that it doesn't matter what your social status is, you can do anything you put your mind to. And then he floats down to the ground and he puts his sword back in his grimoire and puts his grimoire away. And all of the people who were taking the Magic Knights exam cannot believe that a commoner just said that he was gonna become the Wizard King. No, not just that, but he said that he was going to surpass all the captains. He insulted almost all the captains. And he said that he was going to surpass the current Wizard King and surpass them. They just couldn't believe it. All the captains are pretty interested in Asta. Some of them don't really like his attitude too much, like Nozel, but that's actually pretty much the only one, because Nozel's just kind of like, he cannot believe that he just got told off by a freaking commoner. So yeah, and then after that, Yami, while hearing all of this, he's just smirking, and then when Asta stops it, he starts to laugh, and everybody hears it and turns their head towards him, and he says to Asta, kid, you got guts. I like you. You're definitely gonna make a great addition to the Black Bulls. And then Asta smiles, and he's like, I can't wait. And then, he says, wait just 1 second. And then he walks up to Asta, and he's like, sorry Asta, but you're not gonna become the Wizard King. I'm gonna become the Wizard King. And then Asta chuckles, and he's just like, yeah, we'll see, And then, yeah, so after that, Asta is about to leave and go to the Black Bulls hideout base, and he walks up to Yuno and he's like, well, I guess this is goodbye for now. And then Yuno's just like, yeah, I guess it is. And then Asta is just like, don't worry, next time I'll see you, I'll be way stronger. And then he's just like, yeah, you're not gonna be the only one that's gonna be stronger next time we see each other. And then they fist bump, and then Asta walks over to Yami and Finral, and Finral creates a portal to the Black Bulls hideout, and they go through. And then Asta, when he sees the hideout, he just gasps because it just looks like amazing, and he just can't believe how great it looks. And then Yami's just like, welcome to the Black Bulls, the worst Magic Knight squad. And then Asta just thinks in his mind, not for now. Well, not like, he's like, he's just like, yeah, for now, it'll be the worst Magic Knight squad. But soon it won't be. And then, so they walk up to the door, and when the door opens, suddenly just this fireball just comes straight at Asta. And Asta, you know, having magic can sense it, so he takes out his demon Slayer sword and he cuts right through the spell. And then Yami's just like, interesting, he says it in his mind. And then Asta sees all the Black Bulls just yelling and screaming and running around and fighting, and he sees Vanessa getting drunk and Charmy eating, and Luck and Magna fighting and all of that, and Gordon just being really weird, and Ghost just looking at a picture of his sister. And then, yeah, so that happens, and then that's when Yami comes in, just radiating his sort of magical power, and then he takes his fist and slams it against the wall and yells, "Stop breaking everything!" And then immediately the Black Bulls stop doing what they're doing, and they all line up, and they're all like, "Captain, you're back, yay!" And then Yami's just like, yeah, whatever. And then he turns to Asta and he nods towards him, and he's like, this is our newest recruit, Asta. And then Magna sees him, and Magna, you know, is kind of wanting to, you know, go and assert his superiority, or what he thinks is his superiority over Asta. And he goes, and he's like, you may be strong, and you may have a lot of magic, I can sense it, but that doesn't mean I'm gonna acknowledge you. If you want to be acknowledged by me, then you're gonna have to have one of these. And he points to his Black Bull's robe. And he's like, but we're not just gonna give it to you. Oh no. You're gonna have to go through what we like to call a baptism. And then Asta, sensing the sort of challenge in Magna's voice, he looks at him with a determined look, and he's just like, bring it on. And then Yami's just like, wait a minute. That we're not gonna do, well, we are gonna do it, but it's gonna be a little bit different this time. And Magna looks at him, he's like, what do you mean? And then Yami turns and he looks at Luck, and he's like, I want you to participate in this as well. I want you to go and attack Asta while Magna's throwing his fireballs. And then Luck looks at Yami, he's like, wait, really? And then Yami is just like, yeah. So then after that, they go outside. And after that they go outside, and Magna takes out his grimoire, and he's like, alright, basically the only thing you have to do is either dodge all of these or sort of like reflect them back. And then Asta's just like, alright, whatever. And then Luck takes out his grimoire, and he does that sort of like gauntlet thing with his lightning magic, and he makes also lightning boots. And then Magna starts like shooting fireballs and stuff at Asta, while Luck just rushes at Asta, about to like sort of hit him with a bunch of lightning, like lightning fist. And then Asta, he takes out his grimoire and he brings out his sword, and he blocks every single one of Magna's attacks, sending them right back at him. and also all the while dodging every single one of Luck's attacks. And then after he does that, Magna's like, alright, well, you won't be able to reflect this one or cut this one. And then he makes a really big fireball, and he throws it at Asta. And Asta, he says, sword art, lethal slash. And then he rushes at the fireball, cutting straight through it. And then after he does that, he says, sword art, lethal slash again. Or no. He says sword magic, pinpoint orb, and a sort of orb of anti-magic just starts to sort of generate around the tip of his sword. And he points it at Luck, and it shoots straight at him, hitting him straight in the chest and knocking Luck out completely. And yeah, you might be wondering what this is completely unbelievable, but no, Asta is really OP in this one, so yeah, that's what happens. And then Magna is just really surprised that Asta was able to do all of that. And yeah, so after that, Magna, he goes up to Asta and he was like, man, your power is pretty manly. And then Asta's just like, yeah, thanks. And then Luck gets up, and he was like, man, you're really powerful, Asta. I hope we can spar again. And then Asta's just like, yeah, that would be awesome. And then, yeah, so that's what happens. And then Magna takes out his a Black Bull's robe, and he gives it to Asta, and he's like, you earned this. And then Asta looks at it, he takes it and he puts it on, and he's like, thank you, I really appreciate it. And then all the Black Bulls, they're just like really excited about, you know, how powerful Asta is, being able to take on Magna and Luck and winning. Like, they think that's really awesome. And then Vanessa walks up to him, and she hands him a sort of headband, and she's like, here, I think this will fit you perfectly. And then Asta looks at her, and he sort of tilts his head. And it sort of reminds Vanessa of Yami. So, you know, she starts to blush and everything, and she backs away. Yeah, so he puts on the headband. And then, Vanessa uses her thread magic to make a Black Bull's symbol on the headband. And then Asta's just like, man, this is awesome. And then they all the Black Bull members just come up and they're like, congratulations and welcome to the Black Bulls. And Asta, he just bows to all of them. He's like, thank you for this opportunity. It'll be wonderful to work with all of you. And then, yeah, actually, I think that is where we're going to end off this What If. I hope that you guys all enjoyed this. I honestly, really enjoy making, these What Ifs. They're actually really fun to make. I mean, yeah, they're really fun to make, and actually the editing has definitely gotten easier. So, again, just thank you for the 100 views that I got on What If Asta were the reincarnation of Licht and Tetia's Child Part 1. This is, obviously Part 2. I'm looking forward to posting Part 3, and I'm pretty sure that I'm pretty sure I'm gonna be able to get to it today. I'm gonna be posting, after this video is up, I'm gonna be recording and editing and posting, What If Deku were the reincarnation of Madara Uchiha Part 2. And then I'm gonna move on to Part 3 for this What If, and hopefully I'll be able to, post it today. I at least want to get to Part 4 on this What If, and at least Part 3 on, What If Deku were the reincarnation of Madara Uchiha. I'm not completely sure I'll be able to, but, that's what I'm planning on doing. So yeah, thank you for the views, the likes, the subscribers. I really appreciate it. Don't forget to, like and subscribe. Turn on all the notifications so you get notified as soon as I post another lit what if, which is, probably gonna be today. And yeah, looking forward to that. And honestly, that's pretty much all I have to say. So yeah, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. You already know who it is. It's What If King here, signing off. Peace!